What up, Founding Fam? Coming at you with another training today. I actually had a girlfriend reach out and ask if I could do some trainings on breaking like negativity cycles and a physical activity to kind of remind you and to kind of retrain your brain in the way that you're thinking. So we all struggle with negativity. I mean, if ever there was a year, and not just a year, but a week like we've had this month with all the election crap going on, I mean, a lot of people are negative. And I don't want to say I don't struggle with negativity, but I have such a distaste for negativity that I'm very conscious and intentional about trying not to be negative. I mean, it's to the point now where if I am negative about something, Ryan will be like, "Excuse me, what did you say?" So one of the things that I like to do, one of the exercises, the physical exercises, is to look at your hands, look at your palms. And if you can do this first thing in the morning, like when you're getting up, it'll put you in the right frame of mind. And I want you to look at your hands, and I want you to think of everything that these hands have done. Everything that these hands have gotten you through, all of the work that these hands have done, right? Like I look at my hands and I sit here and I'm like, these hands, this body grew and birthed two babies. If I can go through that type of physical trauma and come out, stronger, and not just stronger, but I created a business. I don't have to put my kids in daycare. Like I'm building the life that I desire, the excuse me, the life that I want to design for myself, and I can do that just by looking at my hands for 2 seconds in the morning, right? And then if you needed another boost, like say you're being super negative about yourself and you look at your hands and you're like, oh, these hands are average. These hands haven't really accomplished much. These hands, haven't met my goals for the past few years, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, take your spouse's hands, or think about your spouse's hands, or think about your mentor's hands, your pastor's hands, whoever is leading or kind of shepherding you in your journey, your best friend's hands. Okay, well, you're not talking about yourself, so there's not going to be any self-negativity, right? But you're going to look at your hands and picture one of those people and say, oh my gosh, they got through this, they got through that, X, Y, and Z, the other, they did all this stuff for me. They've invested this in themselves. They have just really had the faith of a mustard seed and moved mountains, right? Why can't I have those hands? Guess what? I do have those hands, because those are my resources. Those are people that I can reach out to. Those are people that have an impact on my life, and I have an impact on theirs. And oh my gosh, if they have that impact on me, then obviously I'm having some type of impact on them, where they could be in this position and be saying awesome things about me, right? And just kind of go through this mental dialogue. If you want to speak it out loud, great. Put a little note memo on your phone, and if you're struggling throughout the day, play it. Listen to it, right? Come on and listen to this training. Save it, check mark it, share it, right? Because that is a physical representation, right? To get your mind into a proper mode, into a proper mindset. And I know a lot of people who struggle with negativity had negative influences, right? And what I mean by that is, either someone spoke down on you or picked on you, or, was just generally a negative person. And negativity is very contagious. it is way more contagious than positivity, right? So if you get sucked into that negative hole, or you're just around negativity, like if your parents were super negative when you were growing up, I feel terrible for you, because you have a lot longer to go, a harder hole to dig yourself out of because of that, right? So it's a lot of like this nature and nurture type stuff. So like the nature part of it, your brain does basically what you tell it to do, right? It sees what you see, it feels what you feel, it associates what you're associating with, right? And then it starts getting smart. So anytime you're put into a similar position, or you see a similar type of person, or you hear a similar phrase, guess what? Your brain's already flipping through its little catalog to say, oh, something similar like this happened. Here's your negativity card. This is what you're going to think and feel because that happened. So by this physical representation, this physical act of looking at your hands intentionally and thinking about what your hands, or what your network's hands have done, that's almost like that stopping point before your brain's able to kick into that patterned gear, right? So what this does is it's shifting. It's starting to make new inroads. More neurons are firing and creating new pathways in your brain when you are being intentional about this. Another way to just kind of keep up with this during the day, you know, in the morning, you can look at your hands. You can do that exercise anytime throughout the day. But in the morning or at night after you take your shower, look at your hand and physically wipe off the steam in the mirror, right? So you are looking at what your hands have done, right? You're thinking about it, you're remembering, but then you are doing a physical act of wiping, right? So you can see that your hands are doing an action, that they're doing what you have told them to do. So this allows you to be like, okay, so what can I associate that with? You know, me wiping that mirror, that physical representation of what my hands, or what my network's hands have done. Well, what else can I do to use these hands? Right? So what else can I add to that tally? So when I wake up tomorrow morning and I look at my hands, I can say, they did this, this, and this on top of everything else today. So you can have serving hands, you can have encouraging hands, you can have working hands, loving hands, you know, you can separate them into whatever column that you want. But what this does, it is just a physical representation, an easy way, something you always have on you that you can stop your brain from going negative, right? That you can not only stop your brain from going negative, but you can empower yourself through something so simple, looking at your hands, right? So let me know in the comments what you thought about today's training. I love it. I love those physical activities. Definitely a good one to keep in your mindset toolbox. But I will be responding in the comments. Share this, invite people to the group, people who you think would benefit from these trainings. I know this one is a big one. Just about everyone can benefit from this. So go start tagging and inviting people so that we can build and grow this community of boss founders together. But I will see you next training.